Greg Maddux is a Baseball Hall of Famer and author of 355 victories. Tim Wakefield put up 200 wins of his own. In retirement, they chase their other passion, golf, where location is sometimes more of a challenge than it was when towing the rubber. We recently sat down with both.
Well, I'm pleased to be joined by a couple of pitching gems. Former Major League pitchers Greg Maddux, a former four-time consecutive Cy Young Award winner and Hall of Famer, and Tim Wakefield, a two-time world champion. You're also a world champion, and he's number 3 all-time on the Boston Red Sox pitching wins list. It's great to have both of you guys here. A couple of guys who combined for over 500 wins, and both topping out in the high 90s when you threw.
Yeah, right? I wish.
I flipped those around. 0.9, I think, was my speed.
But my point with that is that you found what was your best path, both of you, pitching-wise, to success. How does that work for golf for you, Greg, committing to your game?
Oh, well, I'm still trying to figure that one out as far as the golf goes. But, you know, I think, you know, I was big. As a pitcher, I was big on every pitch matters, okay? Every pitch is important. And I think when you play golf, you try to take that same attitude that, you know, every shot matters and, you know, be committed, be 100% committed behind it. And the only difference is in baseball, I was able to execute a lot more than I can on the golf course. That's kind of the huge difference.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, Tim, is there's the individual aspect of baseball
Right.
being a pitcher. So I would imagine that applies to golf as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like what Greg said, it's I had this thought in my head every time I towed the rubber or every batter I faced is I was trying to get it out with every single pitch that I threw. You relate that to golf, you're trying to hit the best shot that you can every single time. You know, sometimes it doesn't work that way, but you hit the next one the best that you can too.
But for you guys, like catchers, you can't, there's no, you know, losing focus out there as well. And that's golf as well, just staying in the moment and being able to laser in on what you're trying to do.
Yeah, between innings, I try to relax as much as I can and not like the mental grind can be a long one. So you want to concentrate and be in the moment at the time when you're on the mound until you get your 3 outs, and then when you go in the next half inning, you just try to relax a little bit, but not get too crazy because then you want your concentration to be as good as it was the last time you were out there.
I don't know if this applies to you because you were always good every time you took the mound, but I was saying that for pitching, I wonder with golf, being able to get through maybe when you don't have your best stuff, you know, being able to get through a round or grind through, and that aspect of being a pitcher, being able to fight through that.
Yeah, I think pitching, mechanically, I was good enough to do it. In golf, my short game's not good enough to do it. So I realized that if I can improve my short game, then my golf game's going to improve because, you know, now you're able to get away with bad shots and still be able to save par once in a while. But that's hard to do. You know, on the mound, it's a lot easier. You know, it's a lot easier to abandon a pitch for an inning or two because you still have these other 2 pitches working. You know, in golf, you pretty much got to hit the shot that's in front of you.
Yeah, and as a knuckleballer, that's a serious commitment.
It's a serious commitment,
That's it.
When you're throwing at 65 miles an hour to guys that, you know, are the best in the world, you better make sure it's moving. And if it's not, I really didn't have anything else to go to. I had a little fastball that was maybe 78, 79 miles an hour and a curveball, but I relied on one pitch the whole time, so better be good.
Well, pitchers have a tremendous advantage during the season, and that is keeping your golf game sharp. And I know in Atlanta, and I want to talk to you about your career, in Atlanta, Bobby Cox was very generous in allowing you guys to play.
Yeah,
right?
He felt it was good for us mentally to get away from the ballpark, go out, play golf, get away from the game. And, you know, when we showed up at the park, you know, 3, 4 o'clock later on that day, we were fresh and ready to go. Obviously, we didn't play on days we pitched, but on our, you know, 3 to 4 days off that we got in between, it was actually encouraged to go out and play golf and, you know, get up early and play golf instead of stay up late and, I guess, drink too much.
Right. Did you have that kind of schedule?
I was lucky enough to have managers throughout my whole career. Obviously, with Jim Leland in Pittsburgh, it started with that, and then the 5 I had in Boston, that we were allowed to bring our clubs on the road, and, you know, you make connections. You could, you know, Clemens taught me, you know, gave me his little black book of where to call when you, whatever city, and got to play some of the best courses in the country, that's for sure.
I would think that golf-wise, there's really nothing that can match, you know, having the ball in your hand on the mound and being at a big moment. So from that aspect, is there anything intimidating anymore about playing in events?
I think so, because we're still competing out here, and if you're close to a lead or you're, you know, close to what your goal is, when you come to 16, 17, and 18, I still get the butterflies, for sure. I remember the first time I think I played in one of these events, and they announce your name, put the tee in the ground, and my hand was shaking. I'm like, wait a second. I've pitched in front of 50,000 people before, but yet there's nobody here, and the hand's shaking. Yeah, it's competition.
Is it different?
Way different. I mean, it's like I learned how to pitch nervous. Okay, I haven't played enough golf to know how to play golf nervous. I mean, when you're only playing, 6, 7, 10 rounds a year in competition, you don't get. I haven't learned how to play with nerves yet.
Golf, like baseball, has changed so much into this power game. Everything's velocity and power, and the same thing here. I guess from a baseball standpoint, would we have seen a Tim Wakefield today? Would you get a shot? Would Tom Glavine get a shot today to pitch? I mean, in terms of from pitching to just velocity, just hard throwers.
Yeah, from the knuckleball standpoint, I think the only knuckleballer that was actually drafted was Phil Necro. The rest of us I was a position player.
Did they have a draft then?
They might have. I don't remember. But for my sake, I was drafted as a hitter and couldn't hit, so they converted me into a pitcher, and thankfully I couldn't hit. I tell people I was allergic to wood. Take an aluminum bat out of my hand, I couldn't hit no more.
Do you see this whole power thing that's going on now? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are probably get drafted. It'd be late rounds, and you would have to prove you can win in the minor leagues. I think there would be a lot of guys in front of you, but I think when you go to your A-ball team or AA team, if you outpitch the pitchers on your team, you'll probably move up next year.
I think the analytics of the game, too, has really helped the younger players get in better shape. And back when we played, the velocity the highest was like 95, maybe 92. Yeah. Now it's over 100. Right. And some of these guys are great athletes, and they know how to do it the right way.
Yeah. Strength conditioning, all that plays into it. And
so just wrapping up, just kind of the best part about being at events like this, being around golf and being around pros and this kind of thing, Tim.
I love, picking the pros' brains because I'm very passionate about golf and I want to be as good as I can be at it. But just to be around old teammates or guys that you played against for years, us old guys, that it's pretty good to reunite with a lot of guys too.
Yeah. Exactly what he said. And back in the 80s and early 90s, I was a golf junkie. I was watching Lee Janzen win the U.S. Open and Jeff Sluman play, and to come out here and actually get a chance to play alongside them. I wish there was a way to return the favor and take those guys to the mound with us and let them, throw some pitches to some guys. But it's pretty cool, pretty special.
Well, it's great to see you guys. Special to see both of you. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Play well this week.